That is, if they even opened it in the first place. Nevadans paid too much for air conditioning to let any more desert seep inside. Roland's security detail is probably going to give me the same treatment. At least back then I looked respectable, with a military-grade haircut and shoes polished to a blinding glare. I was 30 pounds lighter from all the walking, even though every step felt weighted down by the secret I was carrying. It wasn't the easiest time to be a closeted gay Mormon in 2004. Not that there's ever been one. My anxiety gives way to confusion when I find the gatehouse vacant. Through the small sliding window that opens into the driveway, I spot a stool, a row of blank monitors, and an empty water cooler. What did my instructions from Paul say again? I fish around in my messenger bag, pull out my phone, and check the email. At the bottom, there's a note I must have missed amid the bustle of last-minute packing. Roland will meet you at the gate. That surprises me. Roland Rogers is hardly ever photographed in public. There aren't any candid shots of him surfing or grabbing matcha or strolling the Santa Monica Pier. The paparazzi must hate him for being so reclusive. But he can afford to be. There are so few movie stars in the classic sense anymore. The actors I grew up watching are all doing HelloFresh ads on podcasts, endlessly interviewing each other about films and TV shows they starred in a generation ago. Roland Rogers, on the other hand, is still a name that means something. He's the last gasp of glamorous old Hollywood, which only makes it more disappointing that he has spent his peak years on the Crash Street movies, mindless action spectacles that risk erasing what he used to be. A damn good actor. Are all those extra zeros really worth his integrity, I wonder? Does the money make the embarrassment of playing Crag Dynamite disappear? I guess those are the sorts of questions only someone with my bank account balance would ask. Men with Roland's resources don't need to bother with silly things like introspection anymore, and they certainly don't greet their guests at the street. To be sure, I glance over at the wrought iron barrier, and there's no one standing on the other side. To the left of the gate, though, I noticed a speaker built into the post and a small call button. Perhaps I need to summon him, or someone, a butler? Do the ultra-rich even call them butlers anymore, or do they just have a Pokemon-esque collection of personal assistants running their households? Slipping my jacket off my shoulders and draping it over my arm only makes me clammier. In this heat, even minor exertion is taxing. But if I'm going to be stranded out here while my host luxuriates in his palace, I need to be wearing less. I hit the call button and hear a brief burst of digital tone come through the speaker. That did something, I hope. While I wait for someone to answer, I look at this blight on the landscape looming over me. Roland Rogers bought this monstrosity after filming Crash Street 4, per my perusal of Wikipedia, and he expanded the primary suite after Leonardo DiCaprio bought an even bigger house nearby, according to an Us Weekly article I read on the plane. I'm not sure what I can offer to someone who lives in his own hermit kingdom, removed from the world, and yet he expressly asked for me. Or so I'm told. As excited as I am to revive my dead career, I'm mystified by the choice. Out of all the authors in the world, he picked a gay ex-Mormon who had 15 minutes of fame over a decade ago and who has been languishing in obscurity ever since. I mash the button again. This time, a short burst of static follows the tone, but no voice. "Hello?" I say. "This is Adam Gallagher, here for Roland Rogers." In no universe did I ever expect those words to be on my tongue. I should be back in my tiny studio apartment in Millburn, cleaning out my cat's litter box, which incidentally has a more pleasing design than the architectural atrocity in front of me. I hit the button again. More static, but still no answer, which does nothing to disabuse me of my theory that this is all an elaborate practical joke. But the driver is long gone, and my phone battery is on 3% from all my in-flight reading. That'd barely give me enough juice to hail another Uber.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.